Good evening. I'd like to call the February 18th, 2014 meeting of the Town of Manchester Planning and Zoning Commission to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the November 19th, 2013 minutes.
I have them here that kind of scratched up because I was in charge that night. Anybody want to read those things? But I think they're okay, except for all this notes I have. I'd like to approve them, you don't want a second.
All right, we have a motion, would be the appropriate term,
Yes.
to accept the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Item 3, reports. Michelle, Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, we didn't have any Board of Zoning Appeals hearings, but I did want to fill you in on some of, Manchester Farms, Section 6, there's only 3 more homes left there to UNO, and then they're complete. Of course, we know Hallie Hill was complete. We have had 3 potential developers contact us recently, and we kind of knew this was coming with the changing of the water ordinance requirements. Manchester Farm 7, of course, which we're working on. Doug Harrell has about 11 acres located between Crown Circle and Hilltop. In between there, you know, like when you go down.
Down the end of Hilltop, would it actually be the end of
No,
Hilltop?
end of Hilltop is actually Western Abbey.
Okay.
This is where if you went in Princess Court and you turn right on Crown, on the right, there's this big acreage there that sits between that and Hilltop. So it's about 11 acres. I know that he is talking and meeting with an architect and engineer right now to see what they can come up with. And of course, Marty Hill has been in to see us about the Old Town property, which may be, some of you know as the Docus property, across from Maple Grove Road. That has a history because it is pre-recorded, long time ago. But with, you know, environmental issues, it can't be built like it was recorded. So he's come in and has some changes and things he wants to consider there. But I think that will have to go through the mayor and council first, because what he wants to do is an annexation. I'm not sure we can, number one, handle that or want to. Back to the reason on handling that, I'm in the process with Michelle Ostrander right now, having her compose a letter to send out just pretty much a generic one that we're gonna have for anybody potential development, because the last storm that we had, I believe it was rain in between all these snows and the melting, we are hitting almost a capacity in our sewer treatment plant. And it's a lot of I&I issues that, right now, Steve and some of his staff is getting prices on having someone come in and camera these lines and see if they can correct some of that so that we can have a solid number of how much allocation we do have for sewer before we even grant anyone. So Bob Ward is aware of this, even though he's in the process. Until we actually have a grip on that or repair work, we're not doing anything. So what else we need to do? One of the other issues is MDE is allowing Sheets now to stop the remediation that they were doing. And they're gonna be testing them. They have 6 months. They're gonna keep testing the wells to see what's going on there. If it stays stable or drops, they probably aren't gonna have to remediate anymore.
Okay.
They'll just keep testing wells that are close to our wells. And I know that the town, Steve has put out a RFP for a concept and a design relating to the new building on Victory Street. I don't know if you're all aware that the town purchased the old doctor's office up there on Victory Street, and we're looking at moving the town administrative offices and police department at this time up to there. So, just some things to fill you in, because it's been months.
We had sent a letter to Sheets saying that we were okay with them submitting drawings.
We actually, last time we had a meeting here with Sheets and the remediation company in here, we spoke to, I think his name's Alan, right, the one from Sheets? And he knew at that time that we were okay with processing, but I haven't heard from them. So I don't know if they've had a complete design change or what they're doing. We haven't heard.
So I'm gonna go ahead and check off town on our
Yeah, you
agenda.
can check it off unless Tammy
You
has.
can check off council too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's great, that's great, yeah.
A lot of snow removal.
I just
today.
knew I didn't have Steve here tonight, and he usually has it all, so I
Sure.
had to
That's okay.
get it all out there.
Moving along briskly, that's a good thing.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead with Altman's Automotive because they're not here to represent themselves. But,
How
What
about
about
we
the
hear from,
county?
yeah,
How about,
from
how about
Bobby first?
Tammy,
oh, sorry.
the council meeting?
We're here for you,
Oh,
Bobby.
Bobby,
okay?
see, I was
That's-
on a roll.
We're
Now
here
messed
for
it
you.
up.
He was excited.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking initially, I really don't have anything to report tonight, and then I realized our last meeting was November. So there's one thing I just wanted to bring you up to date on. This is old news now at this point, but I do want to bring you up to date. And that is on the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan update. I've come back a number of times to kind of keep you apprised of where it is and so forth. So we have had some progress. The county commissioners conducted a public hearing as required by state law. The commissioners did adopt the plan, and it was hand-delivered to the state, the Maryland Department of the Environment. I believe that was January 7th. So it is now in the hands of the state, MDE, and we are hopeful that we will get final approval on this plan update, which has been ongoing since around 2010, 2011, something like that. It's been a long and sad saga, but we're hopeful that this time around that they'll be pleased with what we've done and give us final approval. They have 90 days from the date that they received it. Again, that's as set up by state law, 90 days to approve, to review and approve. But they can also issue themselves a 90-day extension, which they have a habit of doing. So from January 7th, we might be looking at, I'm gonna assume probably towards 6 months. But I will keep you apprised of any new developments on that. So that was the one thing I just wanted to bring you up to date on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. Okay, through agenda item 3. Okay, Michelle, if you want to start with 4, Altman's Automotive.
Right, Altman's Automotive is located off of Monroe Street. They occupy the space that was previously occupied by Hampstead Auto Body. Robert Dausch is the landlord there. They had installed, and we actually had a sign where they came from, and they installed it at, on the old Dutters building. They're not operating it until they got the approval from the P&Z, and we set whatever guidelines, if any, that you wanted to set on it. And that is based on our code for the electronic variable, where we give it the number of sign changes, the hours of operation, et cetera, et cetera. So they give you a sample of the one that you had done before, just to refresh your memories with what options you can do. So I have a picture there showing you where the sign's located. And I didn't write down the dimensions of the sign, but I do know that we had that approved, I approved that already with them. Their size is not the issue, it's just what you guys need.
What did they indicate they wanted to use a sign for, as far as, were they gonna have constantly changing messages, or?
It, previously, when I went down there the first time, it was their phone number rotating on there, and I think it was a break special, they're not only just an auto body, they seem to be service
Mhm.
in general. So it's all kinds of information, I should say, about their service, yes. And it was only operating a small time, so I didn't have any complaints from the neighbors, but I don't think they realized it was there before we shut it down.
What's the actual address of the location?
It's
Do we know?
3051.
Well, the size of it doesn't seem obtrusive. I mean, it's
No.
smaller than their canopy.
Yeah, and you don't have the traffic back there that we had
I
on
mean,
30.
you don't have, there's,
Right,
it's not even a through street.
right.
It's a
Right.
dead end. Yeah, and I think,
Okay.
I don't even think that sign faces other properties. I think it's sideways to any of the backs of the buildings.
Well,
Yeah, it is, probably.
doesn't that come across, what's the right-hand turn off 30? That's Beaver Street, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so,
Make the
There-
right and then left on the,
right, there's Abert's Automotive.
Abert's on the corner there.
Right, and then is there an open space before you get down to the treatment plant?
Yes.
Okay, and
There's
then
a lot
those,
there.
and we haven't heard anything from those people on the south side of Beaver Street who face that?
But like I said, I don't think it was operational, but like maybe a little.
So do we normally have residents and so forth, like, provide their input before someone puts a sign up?
No, it's
Not
just some,
much.
no,
So I don't understand what the issue is.
the issue, with the residents, the only thing that I think should be considered is possibly that we wouldn't want it rolling and flashing all night long. Because I don't know how it's gonna affect those few homes that are across from Beaver, that are on Monroe Street, either their bedrooms out front or whatever. You know, you don't want it to seem like they're,
Yeah, it looks like it's facing,
yes.
looks like the sign's actually facing Beaver Street. There's,
Yeah, it's facing to the south.
Right.
there's
Right.
three residents across the street from it.
It's like 3 or 4 that back
No,
into
they're all
the school?
duplexes.
There's 1, 2,
Oh, they're
3, 4,
They're
5,
duplexes.
6. There's 7 duplexes
Right.
that adjoin the side, but it doesn't look like they would be able to see the sign from where
Yeah.
their residences are. It's really the 3 that are across from Beaver that may be affected by it.
I think the distance there may be so far that,
Yeah,
you know, so it might be something that, you know, we leave it open if we think that people will have an issue with it, but I don't think it's gonna affect it.
Well, I suggest that we, at a minimum, use the same wording on the last sign that we approved. May only advertise the business conducted by Altman's Automotive. Time of operation, do we want to state during business hours? Or have them cut it off at 9 o'clock? The last one we left open for a review. But that's a main road that we had approved that one on, so they could advertise when they weren't closed. But then the static messages, no pulsing, hold time, a minimum of 15 seconds. Now, with the scroll, do we want to add scrolling? Did they actually,
No, I think the only thing that we,
because we're making Premier hold, right?
they weren't allowed to,
They weren't allowed to
Flash.
pulse.
right? That's all, because it could be considered a traffic attention.
Right.
But, that's
The
all.
scroll was permitted on the follow-up.
Yeah.
There had been no problems,
Yeah.
no complaints.
I'd be okay with scrolling too.
They need to have the
Nighttime
nighttime dimming. Again, I would say that we want to have a 90-day follow-up for any complaints that we receive from any residents or traffic
that'll
issues
give us
that
a
are
chance to go down and look at it too.
In operation, yep.
See what it looks like in the snow.
I mean, this appears to be a significantly different sign than what Premier put in. Premier's is a full spectrum
LED
sign.
spectrum.
This appears to be kind of a dot matrix, so it's kind of a little bit of a different beast.
Right, smaller, probably not near as bright.
Right.
So where I stated that as a suggestion, do you need a motion?
Yes, sir, we would need a motion.
Let's change that previous conversation into a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the sign with, subject to conditions as done on prior certificates. The sign may only advertise business conducted by Altman Automotive. Time of operation may be reviewed after a 90-day review period. No static messages, no pulsing, scrolling permitted.
You said I think you said no static and no pulsing.
I'm
Is that-
sorry, okay. Static messages with no pulsing
Thank you.
and scrolling acceptable.
Okay.
Hold time on static messages should be a minimum of 15 seconds. Night dimming is required. Do we need the transition sign? Say statements.
Yes.
Transition time should be a maximum of 2 seconds.
Okay, very good. Michelle, did you get all that?
Yep, I'm gonna just take it right off of this one.
Gotcha.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, has been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Very good.
Can I just interject a question?
Yes.
If this sign doesn't have the capacity, that these requirements are setting forth, so we're gonna ask this vendor then to change the total sign or not use it at
No.
all?
No.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, because you guys are pretty specific, and I'm just thinking if it's not, this full spectrum sign, I just know that it may not have some of the capacity requirements that you're mandating, so.
Similar signs do have the ability to pulse. They don't have quite as much of an ability to do a transitional fade
And this
as
night
the full
dimming thing,
spectrum.
I'm not sure, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm looking out for the business too.
Yeah,
Well, we have 90, come back after 90 days and we can sort out all those pieces and
Okay.
go from there.
Now, the night dimming, I did think of that because, like Ms. Black said, if there, we did that because it was on the main road.
Right.
sure.
This, to me, is very similar to the sign that, Spargo's has out front.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar in
It's a bit
size.
bigger.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, and I don't believe he can turn, I mean, he probably has a little brightness to it, but I will pass this along to them. If there's any issues or they can't
They can
They,
break.
do
they
this,
can come back.
I will
That's
get
what the
back to you
90-day
all.
period's for,
Yes.
if
But
they
they can
find that
still
it doesn't
use
work
it
for
in the
them,
mean-
yes.
It's also possible they may turn the sign off at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are going back there?
Right,
Yeah.
I mean,
right,
they're not gonna really be marketing that, but
right. Okay.
unlike Main Street.
That's a small sign.
Okay, very good. Item 4 completed. Item 5, the real property, 3376 Main Street, chain link fence request.
Okay, now, that, request was previously done, and I gave you the minutes, and now I can't find them. February of 2012. Mr. Rill came to ask about extending his fence that he had, to a property that he had recently purchased up next to his. Since then, he has, established a fence row line, I guess you would call it, with the firewood. And now has come back again asking about extending the chain link fence throughout his entire property. So, he is here to talk to you.
Good evening, sir.
I just wanna extend it on around the property, so that I don't have to back my trailer in off of 30, so I can just come in and go out the back. I'll be coming in off of it, off of Og Alley. If I get the, cause I have some gates put on the back side. And that's, then I can move the, wood and stuff like that. So, and it's 42 inches tall, is all it is. To match, what I already have.
So with that, you could clean up your property and,
Clean it up?
as far as all that wood back there, it'd be
Oh, I'll
able-
move the wood. What wood?
that big pile of, it's not
That's
firewood.
firewood.
It's undercover as firewood.
Yes, it's undercover.
What about the other?
The other is gonna be sold, that's firewood also.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it'll stay there.
No, I can't get to it right now, but as soon as I can get to it, and then I'm gonna saw it
That's
up.
the reason, so you can have access to it.
What's this?
So you can have access to that wood?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I wanna put the gates in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's down along the property, once I put the fence up, and then I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna bring it back up. Because the neighbor, kept wanting to mow my yard. He said it was his. I said, no, I don't think so. So I had it resurveyed and everything to, show him it was was not his property. Because he had pulled the property pins out. I don't know what he done with them, I guess threw them away. So I went and had it resurveyed, she knows that. And, then I put the post down on there, and they said I couldn't put up a fence, but I did put post in, metal post, to just on the property line. And, then he kept doing it, so then I just piled some firewood down on there, because they denied me putting up the fence. I don't know why, but it's not gonna hurt anything, you know, and it's not, I keep it clean. You know, I don't let stuff grow up it and stuff like that, so. And that, like I say, and then that way there, I can come in the front and go out the back. It'll be safer. I don't have to try to back my trailers in off of Route 30.
I have a couple questions, just to get,
Go ahead, Michelle.
I'm trying, I can't even talk today. We have in the past extended chain link within town, whether they had chain link or their neighbors had chain link and they wanted to connect to it. So it's not setting a precedent, it's just, you know, some of what we have done in the past. But the only issue that I do see and that I think we need to consider here is that we don't allow any more fences in the front yards. Mr. Rowe has a fence that is in the front of what was once your one parcel,
Right.
and
Well, I just want to go straight on down, so it looks right, you know. I
To
mean,
go
it's
straight
not
on
gonna
down so it
look
looks
right if
right.
I
I
come up
understand.
and then jump.
I totally
Well, the problem
understand.
is, in the code, we don't allow chain links in the front yard, period.
But we
You have-
don't,
you have to-
we don't allow
It's not a
fence
front
in the front
yard, it's a
yard.
side yard. It's no, it's,
Anything,
you know,
well, the
there's
way,
no house there.
Anything that is closer to the roadway than the front of the house is a front yard.
yeah, beyond the front of the
Whether
house.
it be 2 yards, 1 yard, that's irrelevant. To clarify, we have allowed chain link fence in the rears when they were connecting 2 sides. Each
Yes,
neighbor had a
yes.
chain link fence and they connected across the back.
Yes,
That
or
we've
to
allowed.
replace existing chain
Right,
links.
or to replace it.
Yes,
The
Well,
only
my
other
My other
time,
one that exists already, that's clear out front,
right,
down my property, so.
it is.
I just wanna hook onto that and go on down and back.
the only other time that I recall us allowing to install new chain link was associated with the pool as a result of a safety issue and not so much for wanting to put up a chain link. I do have a question though. I'm a little bit at a loss for how putting a fence across the front yard is going to make it safer for you to bring a trailer in and out.
Well, if I leave it where it's at now, I can't fit between the fence and my house. So I'm still gonna have to back it in. Where if I go straight down, I can come in and go right around that little tree and then right out the back. That's safer, yes. See, if I only come to the front of my house, or his house, and go down with the fence, I'm still fenced in up here in the front, and I can't fit between the house and the fence.
Your initial lot has the fence around it.
Yes, completely,
The supplemental lot that you purchased
yes,
has the firewood along the one property line
yes,
and has the road on the front,
yes.
30 on the front,
Well, the road, the sidewalk, and then
Right.
grass and the,
the 30
Back-
right of way.
it won't be out any further than the tree line,
And on the back is the alley.
yes. And there's
Okay.
a space in between there too where y'all have a right of way.
Right.
That's where they had the monitoring well?
The
Yes.
monitoring well there, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so if you pull into that supplemental lot, you could drive straight through from one side to the other, is that correct?
no,
No,
because there is no entrance in the front, I would have to run over the sidewalk and the curb.
Right.
The only entrance in the front of the 2 lots is where my driveway's at.
Right. And that's on the side that joins the supplemental lot, correct?
Yes, well, it's about in the middle of it.
Well, it's closer to the supplemental lot than not.
Well, yes, because
Yes,
the other
okay,
side's a bank.
okay.
I can't get up over
Right.
the bank, so
Yeah, right,
yes.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
okay.
Do we have a picture of this property?
I did, but I
thought-
didn't bring it.
So if I'm trying to
Sorry.
understand correctly, I know the house you're describing.
Right, right.
But I'm trying to think, so there's that wood on the right side. And
Yes.
then there's a chain link coming all the way up on the left side?
Yes,
Okay, so right now it's
This-
off, it's
right.
off center, right? So we have one that's
Yes.
stopping towards the back of the house, and one's all the way up extended in the front. So we've denied him before the opportunity to bring the fence all the way up even, but you're not
No.
wanting to link them in the front, right?
I-
Just
right
bring them
now,
both the same?
right now what it is, okay, say this book is it, my lot?
Yeah, so right here's your house, here's
Okay.
Route 30. Now
Right.
show me what you're talking about.
Okay, see, I already have a fence, comes down here, goes up, around the back, and then comes up this side, okay? And right here's my driveway,
Right,
okay? See, what I wanna do is take this on down to where the wood's at, okay? And then run it back, and then when I come up here, I'm gonna put gates in here so that I can come into the back, but then this fence is gonna go then. So I can come in here and go right in and out.
So your
And
back fence
see,
is-
if I gotta go to the house, this is close enough in
oh,
here,
you can draw it up there, okay, yeah.
this is close enough here that I can't get through with the trailer. So I have to bring it on,
Where's that wood pile? Show me that wood pile,
oh, which wood pile?
the one in the front of your house.
I don't have
So
none
you
in front
don't,
of
so
me.
on the side,
Down here.
Yeah.
The wood pile's right here.
okay, okay.
That's down
Alright.
between the neighbor and my lot.
Why don't you just enter from
That's
the rear?
in here because he kept wanting to mow this, and then of course it only goes to here, because then you have a bank here, and then there's a big pine tree, that big pine tree right there. So. But see, like I say.
So
you
you're
know,
gonna
if I-
remove some fence?
Yes, I'll take the middle row out,
Behind,
right.
all right.
And that's why I'm only going 42 inches, because that's what the other is. And you can see across it. So,
Things I mean,
No, it makes it a lot clearer. I don't remember that when you came the first time about, sorry, I didn't remember taking that other piece of fence out. Because now
Well,
it just
yes,
makes a
I'll-
bigger box.
no, I'm gonna take that out.
Right.
Once I put the other in, then I'm gonna take the center out. So both lots is actually jointed together.
Have
How-
one big lot.
So that, yes, so that way there, like I say, and then I can come straight through with the trailer, I don't have to back in or nothing. I can come in the front and out the back.
The fence, existing fence you have right now in the front yard, how far off the sidewalk would you say that is?
How far off, the one right now? It's,
I know it's a guess, but give me an idea.
well, it's up on top of the wall, and you probably got 6 foot from the top of the wall. So that would be, well, probably 6.5, 7 foot off the sidewalk.
And does the wall extend to the additional lot also?
No,
So
that only
your,
goes to my driveway.
so your front fence will be sitting up high and then go down into the lower? Will that, or will,
Well, it does that right now. It comes up, and then I have a roll gate
You're right.
in the front
you're right,
that rolls
Yep.
shut.
Okay, I gotcha.
So the fence down below, it'll all be the same size.
The chain link that's in the front now, about how long is that?
How long?
Yeah, just roughly.
The distance, you mean?
Yeah, like,
65 feet?
that's currently there.
Yes.
And
Well,
then how-
that's the length, the width of your property is 65 feet. So the other one will be 65 down.
Okay. So you're looking at about 125 or 130.
130
altogether.
feet.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm not wrong, and I'm not trying to throw out anything here, but to really comply with code in the front yard, the existing fence shouldn't even be chain link. It should be wood, wrought iron, Or-
Architectural,
architectural
man-made
vinyl.
materials, yep.
I think the vinyl,
Vinyl is acceptable in an
is
architectural
acceptable.
addition, yeah. Simulated pickets, basically. but it is pre-existing. It was during a period of time when the code was unclear about
Right.
fence types and materials.
It's been there like 23 years.
Right. Yeah,
And we do have a few within town that do have chain link in their front yards.
we do.
It was something that was done.
Now,
But your big gate's wrought
as-
iron, isn't it?
Sir,
Isn't that big gate of yours wrought iron? Have I got the right one?
the gate,
Down by the,
the
huh?
gate is metal, yes.
Yeah, that's the big,
But it
that's the
has,
big.
chain link over it so the dogs can't get through it.
Well, yeah,
As-
yeah, behind.
right.
But yes, it's a roll fence.
Because that's probably 25 to 65, isn't it?
What's that?
That roll gate of yours, that's probably 25 feet of that 65. I'm just trying to
No,
think,
no,
is
no.
it absolutely infeasible
It's,
if,
12 feet,
huh?
12 feet wide,
12 feet?
the gate, yes. That's,
That
you
leaves you
get the
about
trailers
40.
through it.
I mean, one of my ideas in my head is saying, yeah, you can put a fence there, but it's gotta be, either, the wrought iron, the architecture, like the code says, in the front. Now, what you do on the sides and the back, you could go with the chain link. So theoretically, could you go ahead and pull up that chain link that's out front? How much more would it disadvantage you and put that on that side where you won't put that new fence and then go in the front with what the code says? And there really wouldn't be an issue, as far as I'm
I wanna
concerned.
keep the whole thing the same down through there. I wanna keep
Yeah,
it-
that's what I'm saying. You go with a whole new,
It's
the
already
ones that
been
are
there.
approved.
No, I don't wanna put up
You
a
don't
whole
wanna
new
do it.
fence. It's easier for me just to
Even if
add
you could
this
repurpose,
to
I
it.
mean, if we'd let you repurpose that front fence on the sides and the back, go ahead and reuse, the chain link you already got for those parts, but comply
No,
with
I'm gonna
code
put,
on,
for the front and all the rest, I'm putting up new. I'm putting up new chain link.
In front,
that's a suggestion. What I'm saying is you're probably not going, that's not what code, that, according to the code, you can't do that. So that's what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to think of an alternative. If you could repurpose that chain link you got onto the sides and the back and put in front what you're supposed to, then we wouldn't really have an issue. But
is when we visited this a couple years ago, there was an issue with your dogs. Is that still part of?
Mr. Ellis?
There was an issue with the
That
dogs.
was-
Whose dogs?
There was an issue with dogs and
Yes,
the fence.
their dogs, down below, he's got big boxers.
Okay.
We've got little dogs.
Okay.
And their
oh, it's a
dogs-
reverse issue.
And they've got one of those, plastic fences.
Right.
Like y'all
Wood
approved.
fence.
And the
Wood
dogs
fence.
jumping up against that fence has got it so that,
Right. It loosens. They need
Right.
to
Yeah.
tighten their posts
and
up.
that's one reason we don't want that kind
That's
of
why I don't
fence.
want
That
wood
plus
or-
the fact that when the snowplows come through, they throw the snow. And if you have a plastic fence there, you're gonna have holes in the
The
fence.
guy back behind me, he's got the vinyl fence. Go look at it after this snow, where the limbs come down and busted it. That's why I don't want it. And I went around town and I showed her pictures the last time
Last meeting.
where I went around town and looked at some of the fences and stuff.
They're either loose.
The
or
only
they got
ones that
holes
was up
in or
straight
broken.
and looked decent was the chain link. The wooden ones was all warped and bent and looked crappy. And then the other ones, like I say, they were all broke up and I brought pictures and showed Michelle.
is this
So let me
pretty
just-
well what you look like?
Sir,
Is that your lot? Take a look at that, this crude drawing.
Yeah, I apologize, I have the pictures. I thought he would bring them and I forgot about them.
this is the wood pile down there?
Right.
Yes. And this is my wood where I have cover under the tarp?
Right, this is your shed,
Yes.
this is your parking area.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
this is the street.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yep, that's pretty much the way it is. I
okay,
forgot the tree.
well, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
good, otherwise.
forgot the tree.
So
Here's 30
let
right
me
here.
just clarify a couple items. Your current driveway comes off of Route 30
Yes,
and goes straight up to the house.
yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so in order for you to be able to pull straight in and exit out on the alley, you're going to have to loop your driveway around your house.
No.
No?
I'm
You're
going,
gonna,
I'll go
To the
come in
side.
this way,
okay,
just square off where the fence is at, If I remove the fence, I can veer off and then go right out the other way. I'm not gonna put a driveway, I'm gonna just go through the grass, so I can keep mowing it, because I don't exit that often. See what I'm saying?
Okay, you're gonna be running across your lawn every time you have to
Yes.
do your trailer, be it once a
Yes.
year or 100 times a year?
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
you're
It'd be
basically
up
gonna
where the
create a dirt
fence
road.
was.
Right, okay, it's gonna be a
Yes.
dirt road from point A to point B, okay?
Right.
Okay, and,
See, because I have a garden in the middle of it, so I'll go between the house and the garden and out the back.
so whether it's paved, concrete, gravel or something, the intent is to drive around the house?
So I don't have to back in, so I can go from 30 to the alley.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Now-
his driveway's on that right side of
Yeah,
his
it's
house.
driving on the right side of the house.
So he'd come
Right.
through here.
Right. Now, the desire for the front yard fence, what is that desire? Why do you want to put a fence in the front yard? I'm just trying to clarify
keep-
all the elements here.
To keep my dogs in,
Keep your dogs in, okay?
okay? And to be honest, to keep people out.
Okay. I mean, I,
That's all,
That-
yeah.
I mean,
fine.
you know, I've had so much
Right,
stuff
right.
where I leave it out and it seems like it growed legs. But what do? It's gone, you know? Where the fence, if it's sitting there, they might take it, but they're gonna work for it. You know what I mean? And the gate's shut.
Right.
And I have them out, I can lock them if I have to, but I usually don't because they don't roll them open. They won't come through a gate usually. But, you know, if your lot's open and something's laying there, they will walk through and it will go. I know, I've had so much of it happen, that's why I fenced it in the start.
So
And I
from
have security cameras now too.
the northern part of the front fence, how much farther north are you going on to that second lot before you start heading towards the
Down
back?
to where the post is at.
I'm gonna have to help me out with the distance.
65 feet.
65 feet.
65 feet, okay.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much the hog.
Is your neighbor aware of these intentions, the one that we're trying, you know, you got
Yes.
the posts up for?
Yes, well,
and
he
he's
complained the
satisfied
last time.
with the post placements?
He complained the last time, but since I put the wood down there,
Yeah,
now he says, I wish I left you put the fence up.
yeah, darn right.
So now he's not
So-
complaining.
But the metal posts, like he's in
They're,
agreement with where
T-
they're placed?
T-steel post.
So he's not, there's no discrepancy in the property lines? what I'm
No,
asking.
I had it
Okay.
resurveyed.
All right,
So the survey that's there
good with it.
is it, and I'm about that much off of the property on mine. So, I done that just to be on the safe side. But like I say, I did have it resurveyed because he had done pulled the corner pins out and they put them back in. And I told him, I said, don't pull them out no more. So. But like I say, my intentions is to use new fence and stuff so it looks decent, you know. And there won't be no gate in the front, so there'll be no access out the front, besides up on my property now.
Are there any other safety issues or anything, Michelle, other than just what the code states about front
No.
yard appearances?
No, I think.
So
we
otherwise,
changed
I'd
this
just make a
to-
motion that we let this man move
The-
forward on this project.
The only other issue, and I just heard him when he was talking about it, is the driving up through the yard, which is fine. I mean, you wanna drive on your yard, you drive on your yard, and we don't get involved. The only time we will is if you are driving on it so much that you now have mud and things that come out on the roadways,
No,
then
no, I won't
yes.
do that.
Cause
I,
then,
that's an issue I do not wanna do, I won't do that. Because if I
Yeah.
see it starts to do that, I will put a gravel through there. Millings or
that's,
something like that.
that
to
is
keep-
something else that in the
Yes, I will
code.
not drag dirt
we
out on
do
the
not.
highway.
Well, that-
And I know better than that, cause I work for construction, so I know.
That's the only other issue I see. I mean, it is a grandfather.
Michelle, in your opinion on just on the negative side of setting a precedent, my whole concern is setting a precedence against a code that had already set a precedence on this. You know, we worked hard on them fence codes about aesthetics and appearances over the last, how many years?
Long time.
And we did all the studies on the aesthetics and the different wood fencing and the vinyl fencing and the wrought iron. Just off the top of your head, can you think of other possible problems down the road that we'd incur setting a precedence like this? That's my main concern. I'm driving through town in my head trying to figure out, where there's a certain man in town now that owns most of Main Street, and most of the properties up and down Main Street, and with this
chain link
precedence, and
you pull it up
he
on
keeps
zoning?
buying them and they keep adjoining, so,
Do you have a handy copy of the zoning map?
I've just got some different concerns,
So well, let me just ask you a question. So,
so
property owner A has 12 adjoining properties and they all have chain link fence.
Or he's got 10 that don't, and he buys number 11 and it's got a chain link, and he wants all 10 of them chain link. So we got a chain link that runs we'd have a chain link that runs from the painting, from Janey Painting. We'd have a chain link fence that runs all the way up to the past Spargos.
And how, is that different than it is now?
There's no chain link now.
Okay,
But there's
so
one down there past
but-
Janey.
But he can't, if it's new construction,
No, new stuff would have to follow the code. I can tell you that
I'm just going theoretically here.
probably 75% of Main Street has chain link in some capacity. Most of their fences are that. And that's where we have
In the rears.
in the rears. I do have one.
Some of them are in the front too.
I have
There are
one
a couple-
on the
I'm
front
trying
of
to
Park
think of a couple
Avenue.
down further, right? Down on the other side, have some chain link.
If you go
Down-
42-inch
down where
fence
that-
here,
That alley is that
takes
goes,
out that gate, it's a mess there now.
it's before you get to the end
That'd
of
be an
town, there's
improvement.
a little alley that goes one way. There's a chain link fence at that yard right there. And it's in the front yard.
The one at the end here by Abert's, that house on the corner?
No.
No, up here.
Up this way by
Up there
Christmas
across
Tree
from
Park?
Across from Hess Music,
Yeah.
there's a little alley that's coming up into town.
Yeah.
There's an alley that goes one way.
Yeah.
There's a house there that they just remodeled, or they did something
Yeah.
to it right there on the house, or on the corner. There's a house right next to it that has a chain link fence in the yard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about the same time period, I think.
Going there when
There-
you go
So
up-
that's
when you go up to
that's
the-
my only
up
concern,
past the
Mr.
Christmas
Gill.
tree, the Christmas tree farm,
Yeah,
if you look on that left side of the road, there's
Yeah.
chain link fence clear up through there.
There are some.
the
some
old abandoned house?
Yeah, there are some predated chain link fences, and we do have to be careful about what was predated the ordinance versus what's new construction versus exceptions that are issued.
Well, I can use old fence if you want me to.
It didn't exist before.
23-year-old fence, yeah.
that's pretty good.
You had leftover
That's
from
fine,
23
that's a
years
10 right
ago.
there.
I'm trying to make
No.
it look
I
nice.
know you
That's
are.
why I said I'm
I
gonna
know
use
you
new
are.
fence.
No, I had asked Michelle to pull the zoning ordinance up for us, and his lot is not part of the business district area, the Main Street area.
Right.
He's outside of it. He is in the either
R2.
10,000 or 5,000,
Or
R10 or R5
I'll make one
lots. And so we are talking about a slightly different element than something in the main part of town.
True.
I do consider your property, though, part of the gateway into the town, which is partially where some people have been complaining about the chain link fences and the rusting chain link fences and the deteriorating fences.
Mine ain't either one of them.
No,
I
it
know.
never has
No,
been, Mr.
Never
Rowe.
has been, and we're saying that was part of the reason why there was a motion to standardize the fences and to take care of that, was because of those that don't. I mean, most things occur because of people that don't, not
Yeah,
because
I
of
know
people
they
that
make it
do.
hard on us that will.
Will these logs be removed that you have there?
If we put the fence in, yes.
Okay.
The log fence will go.
Yes,
The logs will
fence
go.
will be actual, firewood.
If we were to allow this, please describe exactly what you intend on installing.
Okay. Well, the post is already down there. So, like I said, I'm gonna put it, it's 42 inches tall,
Okay. Now, what's in there right now are T-posts, right?
T-posts, yes.
Okay.
Because they never rot off, and like I say, the others have been in there 23 years, and they're still not rotting off, so.
Whereby most chain link fences use a circular pipe post, not a T-post.
Well, the T-post is easier to install, and they last longer because they're painted. Because at work, they use the round post, and they rot off. And I don't like them because they fill up with water. These do not fill up with water. Like
Round
I
post-
say, you can
round
check
po-
the others.
I know. I put in many a farm post in my day.
Right.
However, normal chain link fence is a round post. It can either be galvanized, it can be painted, it can be plastic dipped. Most of them have a cap to them, which prevents them from rusting and breaking off. What kind of chain link are you talking about putting in?
I'm gonna put up the, chain link with the T-post just like the rest of it. So it all looks the same. Cause the post is already there and I done surveyed them in.
Basic galvanized.
They're painted.
The T-posts are painted, I understand it, but the chain link, you're looking for just basic galvanized chain link?
Oh, the the chain link fence?
So, yes.
Yes. That's already, where it's, like it lasts for years. The same stuff I already have is what I wanna use.
Yeah,
Only
I
difference
can,
is-
I can tell you now,
Oh, you-
I'm gonna be voting against the T-post. It's gonna have to be a circular post if it gets approved with my vote. I did T-post, won't give it the
Well, I
look
can
that
take a
it
round
needs.
post and sit down over top of it if that'll make y'all happy.
Yeah, I mean, it would need to be like either a galvanized with the cap on it or something similar versus correct me, the T-post is the one you hang the chain on. It's already got the,
It's got the
the
hooks.
slide, it's
Got
got
the
the
little
hooks
hooks
in
of
it.
it,
You can
yeah.
either put a wire through it, or you can
Yeah,
put a
you
chain
put a-
link to
Yeah.
it, or you
You
can
wrap a
do
piece
whatever.
around it and then you twist it. It's a real heavy wire. That's something that, it'll lock it there so it can't slide up and down.
Right, right.
See, that's why I like them because they have the little, like burrs on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the fence can't fall down. Where if you use the round post.
Yeah, you
wrap
have to buy,
around
you'd
that,
have,
That fence can slide down.
well, you'd have to buy the strap.
Yeah, but
Bolt on it,
They still slide,
and then-
they'll slide down. I don't like them.
Yeah, well,
They-
I can tell you
normally
that
sitting
I'm
on the
not gonna
ground.
approve a T-post. That's not gonna happen. Just for aesthetic reasons, even if we get that far.
Any more questions?
Is that what's there now?
Yes,
Yes, that's what's there now.
that's what I have to do around the whole yard.
Right.
Yards. Like I say, they've been there 23 years, my fence has never moved,
Yeah.
so.
Hmm.
And I've never had a post to, rot off or nothing.
Does anybody else ain't got any opinion on the T-post versus circle? I've never seen a, maybe it looks so nice, Mr. Real, that I've never noticed it with your T-post, but whenever I see a T-post, I think of my chicken house.
Yeah,
They
check.
I
don't
mean,
stand
my
out.
chicken wire
I'll
with
say
the
it that
gray
way.
wire.
When you look at the fence, you actually can overlook them, because they're not like a round one, they don't stand out.
Is there any other, I mean, I spoke fairly strongly on that, but any other opinions?
I
on
am
it?
not in favor of the T-post. I am not in favor of basic galvanized chain link. I'm struggling with,
Well, what kind of chain link do you want?
I would be willing to consider something that is dipped, plastic dipped. It could be black, green, I would consider
I
that.
can paint it black. That's what you want, I got 10-gallon black paint, I can make her black.
I'm
Galvanized.
really
Like
struggling with
galvanized,
the amount.
reason I like the galvanized because it don't rust.
Right,
I
that's
agree.
true.
Where your black coating, as soon as it gets chipped a little bit, and then you got a rusty fence, and I don't want a rusty fence.
No, most of them are galvanized underneath, so you still have the same
The ones
protection. It
I've
doesn't
seen is
rust.
metal. under the plastic. They're plastic coated.
They're supposed to be
Yeah,
galvanized.
if you break them, yeah, but a lot of them, they'll tell you that, but if you break them, you'll see them rust.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
yeah, I know. I've seen a lot of them chipped.
I know.
I've seen some of them rust. I've seen galvanized ones that have rusted. It's-
Okay, I think,
At this point,
Wait a minute, we have, Tammy made a motion. Okay, so we had discussion, so
Yeah.
I think right now, Tammy, would you restate your motion, please, for the record?
If there are no other residential or safety hazards at hand, then I make a motion that we allow Mr. Rill to finalize his proposal of a chain link fence continuing around his entire property,
Right.
barring there's no issues, with the property line and so forth.
Okay, very good. There's a motion on the floor. We can either have more discussion or there's a second.
I'm assuming your motion is for him to install the fence as he's described it, with T-posts and just his galvanized fence,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I don't understand, I need to understand more about why would ask someone to change a fence product halfway around the property. If the other side is grandfathered in to the code, so are we asking everybody to then change the whole structure or to then add a different looking fence to connect? Now, I'm not a fence expert, so I don't know what the different variations and styles, types, sizes and all that are, colors, plastic, this, that, the other. All I know is if I were a homeowner, I would not wanna have two different kind of fence, if they looked vastly different, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know the magnitude of the difference. You experts down there can probably weigh in on that, but, I mean,
No,
I
the
would-
issue becomes that on the existing lot, we're not saying he has to change anything. But it's the installation of the new fence, which has to comply with code, and he's asking us for a variation from the code. And that's what's causing the difficulty for the board, because everybody's sympathetic to Mr. Rill to some degree, at least my sense of it. But there's also the fact that there was a lot of time spent on the architectural aspects of the fences in town to try to give the town a nice appearance. And I'm not speaking about Mr. Rill's fence as being a bad fence or anything, but there's that issue that we're weighing versus allowing a variation to those standards. And that's what I think the board is struggling with at this point.
And I mean, to take it a step further, while taken slightly out of context but related at the same point in time, if you were doing a renovation of a property and you open up that property then to new codes when you do that renovation, new codes can be applied to old structures when an alteration's done. You could therefore say the whole fence needs to come up to compliance if you really wanted to take a strict hardline approach to something. We're not saying we want to do that. We're trying to weigh the options is what's going on here, because we're struggling, or at least I personally am struggling with trying to allow the property owner to do what they want to do, protect their property, protect their pets, but at the same point in time look out for the best interest of the town. And we have spent a lot of time on this code. And to some degree, I'm not really sure what's different. What's different with this request also. So,
All right, at this point, we've had quite a bit of discussion. There is a motion on the floor. We need to, someone second the motion so we can move forward with the vote, or the motion can be withdrawn, excuse me. Or if there's no second, the motion fails. So at this point, I'll ask, is there a second on the motion? Okay, the motion's failed. So, at this point, we are without a motion, or we've had a good bit of discussion with Mr. Earl's fence.
let me,
So we're back to the,
right.
I thought when we wrote the code, when we all discussed this, the reason that the planning and zoning put in there to evaluate chain link fences independently was because of people who had already had chain link and needed to redo, repair, or extend, which we have extended. And you know, we've got, further up in town where he was stating all those chain links is on the Whispering Valley side, everybody's backyard is chain link. You know, they're eventually gonna wanna replace. And we're gonna have, so I thought it was set to be that purpose, not to make everybody get rid of
Right.
and replace.
That wasn't allowable and to improve the appearance of town. Now, that motion was based upon the T-posts and the galvanized chain link fence. If there's a motion to do otherwise, we would have to take another vote on that.
Well, we have no motion before.
Right, I said if there
Right.
was a
So
motion
what,
to suggest an alternative, we would
well, I
have to
guess
vote
my
on that.
question back to everyone is, all we're doing is extending 65 feet north and basically moving the existing chain link fence 65 feet down to the property. So don't think we're changing the character of the neighborhood. I don't think we're changing the character of the fence. What will be apparent, I'm sure, is the fact that there's 65 extra feet of fence heading north on that property. However, you already have something similar there. I understand everyone's concern. I'm just having a struggle with, we're giving them 65 extra feet of fence, is what we're giving.
That new fence will pretty much butt up to your gate, won't it?
Sorry?
The new fence will pretty much, doesn't your gate pretty much end, like, on the corner? Your driveway gate, isn't that where the fence pretty much ends, right there?
Well, it's
The
not
big
quite.
black gate that I'm thinking
Yeah, but
of?
it's not quite on the end. It's from the.
Does it come out again and go
It's
out?
probably 25 feet to the end.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
That's where your trailer's parked,
yes.
in that
The
section.
fence is down to where that
So there's,
trailer's parked.
all right, so the
Yes.
fence comes in behind the trailer. I couldn't
Yes.
remember if the trailer, you parked that trailer on the outside the fence
It's
or the
right on the
inside?
outside of the fence. It's right on the outside,
There's one on
yes.
each side.
Right.
Yeah, right outside the fence. Right.
Because I was thinking about Bob's interjection there with the black looking better going around.
I mean, I can paint it
Could go
black.
from the black gate,
I was gonna anyway.
it almost disappeared that
It's no problem with
galvanized part.
painting it.
Because paint on galvanized would look pretty decent. Because your top part's unpainted are you painted it gray? No.
No.
No, it's just
Yeah,
it's
it's just
regular
plain
unpainted
fence.
galvanized.
Plain fence on the top.
plain galvanized.
Yes.
Isn't the gate's black though?
Mm-hmm, that's why I'm
The gate
thinking
is black
aesthetically.
currently?
The gate
Gate
is
is
black,
black.
yes.
Yeah.
But see, I got the paint there.
Right.
I was planning on painting the fence until I bought that piece of property, and then I told her, I said, well, I'm not gonna paint it until I'm sure, you know,
You can get it.
when I get the rest. And if you want it black, like I say, that's not a problem. I got 10 or 15 gallon of black paint sitting there. That'll paint a lot of fence.
It will.
As I said earlier, I would be more in favor of something other than the basic galvanized
I can make it
gray.
black.
I am also more accepting of the round posts because it's more in traditional keeping with that type of fence.
Well, if you paint them black, you ain't gonna see them
But
anyway.
you're not gonna see them anyway, that's right.
But like I say, I will do that. I will paint it black down the front. I'll paint the whole front of it black if that's what you want.
And I'm almost
As-
almost okay with T-post on the side. It's just that front I'm worried about. 'Cause that, as it was said before, I mean, your property does pretty much mark the entrance to down to Manchester as you come through. You got the fire department sign right there. You know, everybody's looking up at the sign, and
I know.
we all know Mr. Reel's trailer and well
Yeah,
on the
we do know the
weekends.
trailer.
Yeah, well on the weekends and. So it's noticeable.
Well, like I say, you know, if you want it black, I'll paint it black. I'm gonna put up new fence, you know, I'm not gonna use old stuff, I'm gonna put new up. But I will paint it black.
Today, the T-posts you have in today, do they extend above the top of your chain link fence, or they're
I drive
even
them
with?
down to the right, to the same level.
That's why you're not, that's why
You
you're
only
not
have
seeing
40
them.
That's why you're not seeing them at all.
Never seen them at all.
42 inches is from the ground up, same as the fence.
They still make that same style?
Yes,
They
Oh, yeah.
They still
Yeah,
make that
yeah.
same style?
Yes.
they make good stuff. We use them all the time. Okay.
But like I say, making it black is not a problem. I can make it black real quick.
Okay. Based on the fact that you are not in the business district of Manchester, based on the fact you have an existing fence that you're looking to extend, I make a motion that we approve it as a conditional use in the whichever, it's either R5000 or R10,000 district, as an extension of the existing fence, conditioned upon it being painted black and maintained in good appearance.
I can do that.
I'll second that motion, Bob.
Okay. Is everybody on the board clear on the motion? It's a lot of detail in it, Michelle.
In a minute, in a minute.
Gotta get
Gotta
that
catch
pick
up.
working faster.
All right. Need a motion to approve conditional use in the R, I don't know what he is, 10.
It's either
I wanna say
5,000 or 10,000, please verify.
10,000, of the extension of the existing fence based upon it being painted and maintained in good appearance.
Painted black
Painted
and
black,
maintained.
black.
in
Paint it
good-
black, right.
And that includes the posts.
Yes, I'll paint them too. Well, they ain't gonna look right green.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just,
I mean, you wouldn't
Making
see
sure.
them, but I'll paint
Yeah.
it black too.
thank you.
How
Okay.
long will this paint last on that fence?
Huh?
How long will the paint last? You're gonna have 5 years, 10 years?
I wouldn't like to say. It could be 10, 15 years.
You could repaint those as necessary.
What's that?
That's
Yeah, he
maintained,
put
that's
That's
maintained in
maintained.
maintaining
there.
the fence.
Maintain the fence in black color.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I will.
Okay,
I
maintain it.
maintain
Okay.
my stuff.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
do that.
so we have a motion.
It's been
Yes.
seconded.
We have a second. Got all that, Michelle? You're over there with your head buried in the pad, I'm worried.
Well, you
Hen-
guys do
Henry
this to me all the
approved.
time.
I second it.
Okay?
Who's the second?
Henry.
Thank you.
Okay, motion on the floor, has been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have your fence, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I believe that's the end of it. I will, just a reminder to the members of the board, there is a short work session after the meeting. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
So moved.